back to another video. Welcome YouTube. And in today's video we're going to be discussing the Scotland and the Papua New Guinea game. This is match number 5 of 45 of the T20 World Cup. And we're going to give you a review of what we saw in today's game. And starting off with Scotland, Scotland ended up winning the toss and they chose to bat first, posting a score of 165 for 9 wickets down and batting the full 20 overs. So I'm going to be discussing Scotland. Coach Alan is going to be doing Papua New Guinea. So let's see what he has to say.
How's the Geordie coach? Guys, hello everybody. Welcome back to another exciting episode. Another nice chat. Getting our opinions about what we thought of the game. I think, coaching, let's be honest, both sides stepped their game up compared to their first game.
Yes.
They both huge improvements. Scotland, massive inroads forward. I think the other day you would have heard me saying that they needed to use their feet, they needed to do their rotations, etc., etc. Coach is going to touch on that. I thought Papua New Guinea the same kind of thing. They needed to pick up their game, etc., etc. Wasn't today's game different? Okay. Both sides picked up their game. Papua New Guinea, hats off to you guys. You are a gutsy, fighting cricket team, and it's really, really nice to see you playing cricket like you did today. I know you went down, but you gave a good fight. So I think encouraging is that what did they do different to the game they played the other day? So for me, what I did find, okay, put on the glasses so I can see the notes. I think from a bowling perspective, in the first half of the game, the first 10 overs, okay, they really put the Scots under a bit of pressure. I mean, it was pretty neck and neck if you look at the result a little later on for the first 10 overs. They really put the pressure on. Pukana, Amini, Mariah and Chad Soper for me were the standout a little bit. They sort of good run rate, put a lot of pressure on the guys in terms of their bowling. Up front, putting a lot of pressure on, tying Scotland down. But here around about the 11th over, they just suddenly, I don't know, seemed to go to sleep or lost a little focus. Maybe a bit of heat got to them, I don't know what. But then they started bowling a little loose. They didn't bowl their lines. They weren't hitting their channels. They were a little either full or short. Their spinners are dropping too many wide and short and getting punished. The seamers were coming in and just not getting those channels and stuff and putting the batsmen under pressure like they did in the first half of the game. But not to say that they weren't good. They just let it slip at the wrong time. And at that moment in time, I think if you remember, Scotland, it was Berrington and Cross had come in. Okay, Berrington and Cross had come in from 1 or 2 wickets had gone down. They were a little scratchy. Papua New Guinea were on them. And then they made a bowling change where I didn't understand. A little tactic maybe. They went from Moria and Soper. And they changed back to Pukana and to Sayaka, I think it is. And to Aitia. And they were a little loose up front. So the two Scotsmen quickly got onto them, got their eye in, and this thing went from being that size to that size. They saw the ball, then they started taking the poor PNG bowlers apart. Didn't matter who then you brought on, they then really got stuck in. And I think that's it. So today for me, it's just the better team won. They came out and did what they had to do. Coach will talk about the Scotland side of things. But what I was encouraged with is that first half, the PNG really held strong. And then they made a little cameo fight back towards the end of the game, a little bit too late, I think. They needed to just fight that a little bit longer. They needed to just hang in there, find their lines, and just put the Scottish batsmen under pressure, let them make the mistakes and go out and force them to play the balls, which they didn't do. Can't criticise is that PNG's fielding is top notch.
Yeah.
Out of all the sides that we've seen so far, PNG, hats off, the best fielding side. Fast, to Coach Jordan and I were talking about it, really quick fielders. We are physically man on man, really quick guys and run really well, really fast. They get out, they're committed, they take the catches. Catches win matches. They take the catches, they're aggressive fielding, you find them down, they're set ready, they want to go, they want to be involved, they're trying to read the ball off the bat. So they're nice and proactive in their fielding, so trying to shut down any opportunities an opposition gives them. So great fielding unit. Really like it. I think if they had a little more punch in the bowling, they'd be a little bit better. But I think another thing let's take into consideration, I know I'm probably talking a little too much, is that for those of you who don't know, they've hardly played any cricket in 2 years. That's got to hurt, Coachy.
Yeah.
You haven't been on the pitch for 2 years. That's got to hurt you. They've had the odd warm-up game here and there to try and prepare for a World Cup, and they should have had by rights to be really up there and trying to compete and really good. They needed to have leading up to this in the year up to this, and we know COVID was a problem, but they needed to try and have the back end of at least half a dozen to a dozen game friendlies just to try and find some rhythm and gel and with their lines and their bowling. And net practice is not the same as playing the game and getting your practice in the game. So hats off to the guys. I think they really did well. So from a bowling perspective, you look at somebody like Soper ended up taking 3 for 22, which was really nice. And you'll find this Ataya one of 18. So guys were there, they were bowling well. You look at Mariah, he took 4 wickets in the 19th, by the 19th, so he bowled really well. So the guys were stepping up, and I just think just a little too late. They just needed a bit more practice in the background. But hats off to the coaches, and I understand the Australian guys are out there, some of the top class guys out there helping and working with them. It's a great team to watch for the future. Give them a couple of years, let the ground roots and grassroots cricket grow a bit more, get a bit more structure in there, a bit more support, and you'll probably find that a lot more talent will come through the channels as the time goes on. So great game. I thoroughly enjoyed watching the game. From what we've made previous comments in other videos, both teams seemed to fix it. Both teams went back to the drawing board, worked hard on it. And I know that they lost a few batsmen up front. If I talk about their batting quickly, they lost a few batsmen up front, but they were positive from ball one. They didn't try and get bogged down. They tried to find the runs. They tried to go and work the angles, push the singles. If the bad ball was there, hit it, and things like that. So if you look at right early on, Vala and Bao, 18 and 24 respectively. Nice little cameo, got stuck in there, built a little something there after a few fallen wickets, just to give the guys sitting in the dugout a little confidence that, look, if we can do it, you can do it. I mean, in Scotland, be that much sort of higher in their mind probably as a team. A little bit of a fall apart here and there, but then in comes Vanu and Doriga. I mean, really cracking on. They really just took it to the Scots. So what I like, and I know they lost, but what I like is that they were so positive about it. They fought to the end. Commentators rightly say, do you just try and play out and get your 20 overs, or do you give it your all? You always give it your all. You go down fighting, you go down swinging, but you do not just whimper and die. So I must say to the guys that they were really nice. They really did well. I was really impressed. They used their feet well. They created opportunities, turned good balls into bad balls. And I'll be honest, and Coach will cover it, Scotland bowled really well today. They didn't give them much to work with. And they fought back hard with a tiny little, nice little cameo at the end, which we're hoping Soper would maybe bring it home for the team. He got 16. So yeah, it was right down to the death. It was a good game. So, my compliments to PNG. My compliments to Scotland for being the better side on the day. They just had the edge. They just had that little bit more in the tank than PNG. But all credit to PNG and their coaching staff and everybody else. Well done. Great cricket to watch. Congratulations to PNG and Scotland. Well done. Coachy, your opinion. I know I'm talking too much.
Okay guys, I'm just going to talk about the Scottish batting. So the opening partnership, Munsey and Coetzer, they were looking to be a lot more positive than the previous game they played against Bangladesh. They were looking to take the opposition on, looking to rotate strike, not just try and slog the ball. But yet it always comes down to shot selection. Yet again, Coetzer, he got a peach of a delivery, but Manzi, he decided to go for a shot that wasn't even there, it wasn't necessary. You've just lost the wicket. That, for me, that was an irrational shot. Not a lot of thinking there, but it is what it is. It's T20 cricket, you have to make the most of the power play. Yet again, wrong shot selection. And also the runs weren't coming easy. The PNG bowlers were bowling really well. They were keeping the Scottish quiet, and I think they did a brilliant job. So they ended up causing a lot of pressure, therefore the fall of wickets, putting the pressure back on Scotland. So now saying, let's see what you can do. We've given you an answer, let's see what your reply is. Yet again, I think that there's just still not enough rotation of strike. And we've said this in every single video so far. But it definitely has improved. But I'd still like to see a lot more rotation of strike. Still looking for the boundary balls. You need to just work on soft hands, just pushing it in the gap. Your partner on the non-striker's end, backing up hard. So if there is a single, you can take it and go to the danger end, and you'll most likely make it. Yet again, from Cross and Barrington, I think they batted with a fearless mentality, saying, you know, we're in a bit of a dump at the moment, but let's just build our innings, let's get a partnership strung together, and then from there we can look to explode and take the game on. And that's exactly what they did. Cross ending on 45 runs off 35 balls. He had a good innings and he really set up the Scots for a strong foundation. Along with Barrington, Barrington scored 70 off 48 balls, and he also yet again played a very clever innings. These guys are thinking, okay, we've already lost 2 wickets, game situation, well, we're 23 for 2, we've got about 16 overs left in the game, there's no rush. Guys, think of it, even 16 overs, it doesn't sound like a lot, but when you're batting out there, it can be quite a long time. So even 16 overs, there's a lot of time to bat. So they definitely did a good job of keeping their heads. One batsman on the other side would keep the anchor, and let's say for example Barrington would look to take on a bowler, and then the roles would just reverse depending on how the partners were batting in that game situation. And just to mention as well, this was Scotland's highest score in the T20 World Cup, posting 165. So yet again, there's some milestones that have been achieved. I think that's a great achievement.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thinking that Scotland hasn't played a lot of T20 World Cup, or just any cricket in general. So I think very well done to them. They definitely brought their game the second time round compared to Bangladesh. There were definitely more partnerships to speak of. And switching to the Scotland's bowling, Davey took an early wicket which set up the collapse, if you want to call it that. The bowlers were bowling tight lines, they weren't giving anything away, good lines and lengths, making the PNG batsmen have to work real hard for their runs. And that's the thing, guys, if you bowl well and you stick to your plans, you bowl to your field, you create pressure. What does pressure do? It creates the batsman, it causes doubt in the batsman's mind as to what to do. Suddenly he has to play a shot that he's not used to or he's not very good at just to get the runs going, and that's where the wickets happen. So I think the Scottish bowlers, they really just didn't give anything away. They had their hand on the throat the whole time. And yeah, they were applying a pressure in the field as well. Very crucial, they were backing up the bowlers with good fielding. But yet, just to discuss that PNG were at some point, I think they were about 50 runs for 5 wickets. So not a great position that they were in. But then the Scottish bowlers just let it go a little bit. They started getting a bit lazy, or they just weren't switched on. That's when you need to finish a team off and say we need to apply even more pressure, get the game done in and out, you get more points for that. So they definitely let it go towards the end, allowing the PNG batsman, as Coach Allen said, who was the one batsman?
You've got, so you had Vanu who cracked in at 47.
That was Vanu.
Yeah.
So they allowed Vanu to get in
And get going.
because there was now a few bad balls. The field started slipping up a little bit.
Yeah.
Bang, 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 6-4, 6-4. He started getting into the game and put them in a good position. Josh Davey for me was the best bowler of the day, taking 4 wickets, 18 runs after his 3 overs. So I think a great performance from the Scottish overall and the PNG team, definitely far better than their first games. So that's a wrap on what I have to say. I don't know if Coach wants to say anything else to end it off.
I just think that for me, guys, Scotland going forward from here, I think because their points would have been max going forward here, and I'm going to echo what Coach has said. They've taken the first big step up in terms of they've gone back to the drawing board. They've had a look at where they were in their first game. They made big improvements and inroads today, brought in some players that were key. But I think if you look at them going forward, I'm going to echo what Coach says. For them to go and play with the big boys, they're going to have to improve their rotation of strike tenfold. They're going to have to lift their bowling, and they're going to have to just be more aggressive with calculated risk, not reckless, just calculated to take on the big boys. So, well done to Scotland. I think they're there and thereabouts, and they're going to maybe rattle a few cans at the top and a few cages and make guys wake up. They're a good side. PNG also, compliments to PNG, where they come from. Think about the country, think about who these people are and where they could potentially go. Massive shout out to them and their fans and their coaching staff. And all the young players coming through the ranks there. If there's one thing you're going to learn from us is that you're going to pick up patterns and you're going to see things that we see. And what we want you to do is always remember to think cricket. Think cricket at all times. And be fearless. Never be scared of going out. Be fearless. So, from my side, I think if coaching wants to end off with what you should do and shouldn't do and what you should watch with us and all the rest, I'm handing it over to him. It's bye from me and look forward to the next video.
Yeah guys, thanks again for tuning into today's video. But make sure you stay tuned for the next game coming up. Bangladesh versus Oman. It's going to be a crack of a game. Bangladesh need to win this game. So it's going to be very crucial to see what they do and how they perform. But otherwise guys, thanks for watching. Please make sure you subscribe, like and share before this video ends so that you can see our next videos coming up. And don't forget, we have a Udemy course that is currently on offer for all you batsmen out there. It is the ultimate batting course for all levels, beginner, intermediate and advanced. So any person can do it and it's a great course. It's definitely worth the money and you won't be disappointed. And guys, we're signing off for now, but we'll catch you in the next game.